I'm in a creative block, and apparently you are too. But don't worry, there's a way out. But you have to look within. When I am in a creative block, I feel like I have to find the inspiration somewhere in my head. Like a light bulb will go off with a fresh baked idea and a clear vision on how to execute. But what if this idea is not coming to you because it wants you to go find it? What if the idea wants to come to you in pieces and not in an instant? What if for a moment you need to observe instead of produce? To get out of a creative block, you have to go within. Within different stories, within different paintings, and even within yourself. The goal is not to force a new idea. It's to find what you like in existing ones. For example, I like the confidence in this piece of art and the colors in this illustration. I like the textures of these pieces and the minimalism in these. And there I have it, the inspo ingredients for my next piece. Okay, so I just finished setting everything up and I laid down I laid down the underpainting, and it just dawned on me that you may be wondering, like, where is she? What is she doing? What balcony is this? I'm at my grandparents' house, and fun fact, my grandparents are the owners of the oldest house in Pakistan. This house is over 300 years old. So right now I'm sitting on what would have been a historic version of a balcony. Back in these days, the door and the window doubled as the same thing, so I have to crawl through the window to get to the balcony. So yeah, I'm on the balcony overlooking the rest of the property. Another thing that I like to do when I am in a creative block is to change my scenery and just put myself in a different space. I've only been out here probably like 3 or 4 times in my whole life since they've owned this house. So here I am again, revisiting and seeing what I can create. Moving on to tip number 3, probably the most important tip that I've learned, which would be what I like to call giving the side characters the lead. Now, I learned this tip in an art class that I took at the Mount Gretna School of Art about 2 years ago, and she didn't really call it giving the side character the lead, but I think that's essentially what we're doing. So in the art class, our assignment was to observe a famous painting, and I think mine was by Monet. I really forget who and what the painting was, but you know, I left there with more knowledge. So as you know, there was always the focal point or the main character of every piece of art. However, you'll notice that there's also side characters, background characters, different elements in the painting that make up what you're looking at. These characters are there to fill the gaps and complete the story. However, did you ever think that maybe those characters have their own story? And that's why I call it giving the side characters the lead, because what you're doing is looking deeper into a painting and trying to connect to the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, the story, the day that these people in the background or elements in the background are having. So basically what I did was I found a painting that was already hanging up in the house. I just looked in the background and I saw a mother with her son, I'm assuming it's a son, standing at the entryway of this door. Now, this painting is called the Marble Ark. Looking at what's going on in this painting, the people in the foreground are in motion. They're in horse and carriage, they're on horseback, there's dogs running, there's kids playing. But if you look in the background, you see a sense of stillness in the mother and son who are just casually observing the marble arc. They're actually there in a mindfulness state looking at this structure. So I like that. So that's what I'm going to paint. This is not a chair. This is literally a bucket that I'm sitting on. This is not an easel. This is literally a tabletop turned upside down. But you got to do what you got to do. Okay, so another thing that I suggest when you're in a creative rut is find that childlike enjoyment from painting and really silence your inner critic, because you really have to allow yourself that grace and recognize that you are in a space that's working against you. You have things that are working against you right now. Your own mind, your motivation, maybe the opinions of other, comparison. These are all things that are working against your flow of creativity. So the best thing to do is just get to a state where creating is simply for the joy of creating and nothing else. The ease of creating and nothing else. The satisfaction of creating and nothing else. I feel like it's something that I have to really work on, but immediately when I start painting, I just don't allow the rough stage to be the rough stage. I want it to be already looking how it should look from the jump, and that's just not how painting works. That's just not how art works at all. Really silence that inner critic when you are experiencing a creative rut. You owe it to yourself and your future self to be gentle at this time. Okay, so I am comfortable with stopping there. This is what I have come up with. Now, clearly this is not some of my best work, and that is the point. The point is not to make your best work, your point is to create. So honestly, this is a huge milestone for me because I actually allowed myself to make something that's not good. I have a hard time making bad art. So even though this is not bad, I consider it one of my rougher pieces. This is great because I consider this my gateway piece to further my creativity. So this doesn't have to be something astounding. It's just I took the time to create something, and because of that, I have something else on my mind that I actually want to put more intention into. So I'm actually going to do that now. Okay, so this piece is clearly not done, but I am am going to end the video here because I have to walk my dog. I actually really like the way this is turning out, even though it's not finished. When I walked to the art cafe, I had stumbled upon this drawing, and it really stuck out to me because, well, one, the realism. A lot of the other paintings and drawings were abstracts, but also the radiant confidence that was coming off of this drawing and the feminine energy. You know, everything is a building block in the process of creating art. The essence of that drawing is really what inspired me to create this. I really like to consider the fact that one story can lead to your next. This is essentially her right before she landed in this position. So this is her looking upon the gateway to her next destination. And in her story, she's walking through these doors for a modeling photo shoot, whatever it is. But just be creative and let your mind wander into new territories. Even if the foundation of the story has already been laid for you in a painting, say like this, but try to tap into a different story within the story, and you can lead yourself to different realities, different outcomes. So that's my advice to you when you find yourself in a creative block. It's evening time, it's very mellow. I'm going to go walk the dog and eat dinner. But thank you again for being here with me on my creative journey. And also thank you for watching. Thank you for pushing me to be my creative self, because I have been in a creative block. But this wasn't just for you. This was honestly me talking to myself. So yes, I appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Stay creative and follow that big old smile inside your heart. Bye.